Hello everyone, Maxis here. Welcome to my first episode of my Pokemon Go series. Today I'm actually going to be showing my Rainbow Cup battle videos. I actually really wish I could have done a bit of a testing and demonstration videos of a couple of these Rainbow Cup Pokemon, but, well, sometimes you get a bit of a late start and gotta live with what happens. So, let's get to the battles. Round 1. In round 1, I went up against actually a newcomer to Pokemon Go's PvP, at least where we are. Kind of felt a bit bad, as you'll be seeing in a little bit, but for the most part against her team, Poliwrath was basically my win condition. This is a Legacy Mudshot Poliwrath, so you know what Legacy Mudshot Poliwrath does if you've played Pokemon Go. It's ridiculously fast in PvP, you just spam power-up punches, and it was basically my win condition because it beat most of her team. The only thing that really it was afraid of was basically her Raichu, which, oddly enough, is a Thundershock Raichu, which is pretty much almost as fast as my Poliwrath. So, pretty much just pairing up Poliwrath with Meganium and having a third Pokemon that's basically just a sack Pokemon to get one of the other two in safely, more or less does amazing against everything on her team. I was actually surprised at how long it took to beat that Raichu with my Lantern. And now it's time to show how disgustingly awesome Poliwrath can be, because I probably didn't even need to shield that Heavy Slam, because it is resistant and it's Fortress, so it's not that strong. But this just shows how disgusting it is. Oh, Kingdra. I feel so bad for this Kingdra. I feel bad because she is new to this, and just look what it just destroys. It just destroys. It didn't even get a charge move. And then Power Up Punch, after a few buffs, did that much damage to Fortress. It's just throwing out so many things. It was my win condition against most of her team. And I think I'm just still rapidly tapping everything. Yeah, her Macargo, which she actually hasn't used yet. She's actually going to be, I believe, using it in this one. That was very interesting. It's a very different fire type, but I actually really wish I could have gone over it a bit more. Like, this is actually just showing how well Poliwrath does against Raichu once it's first switched in. That's an unboosted Power-Up Punch, and Power-Up Punch is really not that strong of a move. Again, just Meganium, Poliwrath, trap the Raichu, eliminate it, game. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Raichu. I actually used one on my team, Stormbreaker. I was actually going to be seeing him in a few minutes, but he was good. He was very good, and honestly, a lot of people go crazy for the Legacy Thundershock. Non-Legacy Spark is underloved. It is amazing. And also Macargo, actually just going on about it. That was an unshielded Frenzy Plant. Again, Macargo is a very different fire type, especially in this meta, because it's rock, fire, so it's one of the few fire types that isn't resistant to grass. Its neutral damage, which really means a Meganium using Frenzy Plant or a Venusaur using Frenzy Plant really does a number on it. And on to the next battle. Dose is a good buddy of mine. He is someone who actually has talked with me both in the main series games and also, in Pokemon Go. We've actually worked out a couple strategies. We discussed strategies, battle against each other. For Nightmare Cup, he actually was pretty much my main practicing partner, and it's not easy to battle against someone who you know very well and also knows your strategies. This first battle, just watching this in post just makes me cringe inside. The first team I brought, Stormbreaker, Plantosaur, and Battletoad, was so Venusaur weak, and I didn't realize that until after I hit the button. And then when I saw his lead off was Venusaur, it was just game over. I can do decent damage to Quagsire if I spam enough moves with Stormbreaker, but it's gonna lose to a Quagsire because it's a Quagsire, and Quagsire just does Quagsire things. When I saw that Venusaur just come out, I was like, nope, mistakes have been made. Mistakes have been made. I generally can get an Ice Punch or Power-Up Punch off on a Venusaur, or actually anything, before I have a Battletoad duck out, which actually is kind of a hit-and-run strategy I've been using with Battletoad for practice things. It actually does work because it actually gets Power-Up Punch faster than, I'm pretty sure, anything else in the cup. Since, it's the fastest charging quick move in the game and one of the lowest cost charge moves in the game in Power Punch. So I get my buff, duck out, switch to something else, have them either beat the thing that's trying to destroy my Poliwrath, or just have it get sacked and then bring something else safely. It's a big play. Like, I don't like doing a sacrifice play, but for something like this, it kind of is necessary. And yeah, he wiped the floor with me with that Venusaur. That was painful, especially considering I realized too late the team was Venusaur weak. Had I pretty much put like in Charizard or Rathalos or Build a Wall, I probably would have done better, but probably also would have lost. But yeah, it is not easy to go up against someone who you have battled a lot of battle experience with, because especially with someone like Dose, I've actually battled him in, I'm pretty sure, every one of the cups I've participated in, and I think every time he has beaten me. So there was, I think, one other time I beat him. I know in Kingdom, where I actually play second, he beat me in Kingdom, and anytime you have just someone who has beaten you, or you've beaten them, or you have a history of battles and like that in a tournament, not in practice, but just in a tournament, there is always just a lot more stress and a lot more pressure to win, because there's history. You know, if you lost them in the past, you gotta show you're better now, that you can beat them. If you beat them in the past, you gotta show them that victory wasn't just a fluke. And you know, stuff like that. This was where the leads just came into play, because our teams actually countered each other pretty well. As you can see from this one, he led Charizard, I led Lantern, and the game just completely turned around. I am now just basically destroying his team, and probably should have shielded that Sludge Bomb, but didn't really matter because Charizard slightly ate it like a champ, and then he brought in the Azumarill, so it really wouldn't have even mattered. If anything, eating the Sludge Bomb was a good idea, because now it means that Azumarill couldn't energy farm me, which is a huge thing a lot of people undercredit when it comes to PvP. Sometimes it is better to have one of your Pokemon go down quicker. So something like Azumarill has literally nothing to be afraid of when it comes to Charizard, except for maybe like 3 Blast Burns that are fully stacked up and ready to just destroy it. Other than that, Azumarill basically just destroys Charizard, and not giving it free setup on any of the rest of my team was critical. Especially when you're seeing this right here. You know, that thing beat Bulbfish Mark II. Had it gotten more set up, I would have lost. Oh well, okay, that's a bit of a spoiler. That is a bit of a spoiler, but yes, I would have lost if Bulbfish Mark II and Build a Wall had taken more damage there. If Azumarill had more energy, you saw how close that fight was. I was a sliver of HP left on Build a Wall. If that thing had gotten more energy, it could have launched another Play Rough or whatever it is against me, I would have lost. So again, sometimes it is better to have a Pokemon go down a bit quicker. You can't see it right now, but I was like, my heart was just beating like a drum, and I was actually, when these fights were finished, I was shaking. Because it was like, there was that much, you know, I have to win. This is a big moment, because for me, it's like, I take these things very, just because get the personal friend, good friend, we discuss strategies, we battle a lot, we are good friends in both main series and on Go, so we know each other well, and because of that, there was a lot of history, and a lot of, at least for me, drive to win. A lot more of a drive to win. And this final battle, this is pretty much the reason I say Spark Raichu is better than Thundershock, and I forgot about to get it, but pretty much the reason I say Spark Raichu is better than Thundershock Raichu. It is criminally underrated. Everyone goes nuts for the Legacy Thundershock. Legacy Thundershock is really not that big. Alright, and yeah, the Charizard leads. Yeah, this was where it really came a lot more down to out-predicting each other. And that's what I love. Our teams just countered each other so well. It all came down to how did we play and did we predict. There is nothing more satisfying than a victory against a friend who you know well, that came down very much to skill at play. Yeah, Quagsire. Yeah, Quagsire. Alright, yeah, that's how much damage a Wild Charge can do to Quagsire. It does a decent because he switched out. Like, he switched out there to go to Venusaur. This is how much a Wild Charge does to it. Yeah, that's a lot. He probably would have been better leaving it in. This right here is why I say Spark is better. Because watch this. Now, Wild Charge would have KO'd it. So, he goes for the shield because that, the Thunder Punch bait. Raichu hits hard. Even though it's a resistance, it still hits hard. And now it's time for Battletoad to just come in and just beat Quag. Quag is good. Quag does a lot of damage, but you aren't really dealing that much to I mean, that Earthquake did a lot to Battletoad, but it's still, we outcharge spam you. And the punch. Yeah, Battletoad is my win condition. Battletoad has basically just been my win condition. And next, we're at my friend Aaron for the last of the non-finals battles. I was apprehensive about his team because he had 2 bugs. He had Fortress and Beedrill, which really kind of threw me off because I didn't see many people. I mean, most people were fielding either Fortress or Beedrill, and as in some people were fielding Beedrill, I mean 2 people were fielding Beedrill. Him and one of my friends who decided to not run Fortress because he wanted to mind game people with a Slowpoke. So the double bug really threw me off, but it also really opened a big weakness to Charizard. Because Charizard, depending on matchups, can beat 4 of his team. So it pretty much was a very reliable thing. His Victory Bell, on the other hand, scared the heck out of me. Because Razor Leaf. That thing would eat Battletoad, Bulbfish, Stormbreaker, and Plantosaur for breakfast. It scared me, and you're seeing what Fortress can do right here. I am so glad I shielded that because I didn't even know he had Rock Tomb. I play things very safe. It's not really the best strategy to play things super safely, but it's the way I play. Because look at that. I would have lost my Charizard if I didn't shield that thing. Oh, he's gonna be, Heavy Slam, Earthquake. Nope. I'm glad I went for the shield. Yes, I had used both my shields to beat it, but now it's just time to Dragon Claw spam. Energy farmed up. Gotta use his Quagsire, gotta use his shields, and then just spam Dragon Claw. He removed Plantosaur, so yeah, I can't really do much to his Quagsire now. But I got other things that can beat Quagsire, like Battletoad. Yeah, again, it shows how good Legacy Match is. I'm not someone who says, Legacy moves are always better than the non-Legacy. I don't think that. I think there are some Legacy moves that are worse than the non-Legacy. In fact, the majority of them, in my opinion, are worse than the non-Legacy. It's just in particular things. Okay, not things like Mudshot, but specifically Mudshot Poliwrath is amazing. Because it actually does a bit more damage to Electrics than you would think. You just stack those power-up punches, and you just go to town. The last battle was good. Again, I knew that these battles were going to be either by an inch or by a mile. That's how they were with Dose. That's how they are here with Aaron. Yeah, it's Aaron's real name. They're not easy. I like it when the fights aren't easy. I like it when our teams counter each other very well, and it comes down to skill at play. Even, again, you're going to see here, skill at play comes down to when it comes to balancing teams. It's always so satisfying to beat someone when your teams are balanced and no one has a default advantage. No one has a big, I have this Pokemon on my team, which really just beats almost your entire team. That at least not to me, is not as personally satisfying because, that didn't come down to your skill at play or out-predicting. That just came to, I had a Pokemon that just destroyed your whole team. And again, it's showing how disgusting Poliwrath could be, because just get set up on Fortress. I'm thinking the thought process here was Fortress is tanky, can outstall Poliwrath, but the one thing about Poliwrath is bug types do not do much damage to fighting types. And that's something I know a lot of people kind of forget about, is a lot of people underrate bug. They don't really remember what bug is good against and what's not good against bug, and like the matchups involving bug type has just been such an underappreciated species. And the Raichu switch right there. The funny thing is, I switched that to dodge that Thunderbolt. That didn't even matter, actually, because as you can see here, it just wipes out Charizard, and then I just go for the throat with Thunder Punch on Lantern. I mean, it was a really great, switch. I saved Battletoad, but it kind of was just unnecessary. But again, I like, stuff like that. It was not an easy fight. It was a good fight. We put up a good fight. And now it's on to the finals. Yep. This was disappointing, at least for the finalists. I mean, okay, not disappointing. Disappointing is not the right word to say. Lycanide, he is great. He is consistently placed top in actually most of the tournaments we've done, and there are very few people I can say, regardless of the outcome of the battle with in any kind of setting, be it a tournament or practice, I can come away from a battle with them saying, that was very satisfying. Even if I lose and he wins, either by an inch or a mile, it's very satisfying because I'm going up against someone who is good. Going up against a good player is always very satisfying. Especially here, but you're seeing right now, this is just the start of it. He used a duo I actually thought of at the start of Rainbow, and I actually told some friends about it. One of them was actually not Lycanide. I did not tell Lycanide about this one, but it was a strategy I thought up, but didn't use myself. I didn't actually get a good Mantine until too late. I got a good one, like a really, really good one, top 300 IVs after the tournament started. So I couldn't use it. It's Quagsire, and thinking, okay, well, 2 water types, Mantine's, it's neutral to grass, but it's got wing attack. And you're seeing right there, that took a good while for Plantosaur to beat his Mantine, and even still, that thing took a massive chunk out of its HP. A massive chunk out of Plantosaur's HP. Because Wing Attack is really good. Wing Attack is really good, and despite Aerial Ace not really being that good of a move overall, its coverage is something very, very spectacular. At least for this cup. And I remember thinking it because, Mantine is water flying. Its weakness is rock and electric. What's Quagsire? Ground, water. What does it counter? Electric and rock. Cannot think straight. And what is Quagsire weak to? Only weakness is grass. What is Mantine? Flying water. What does flying do? Destroys grass. It's a duo that basically covers everything. Because, again, he pretty much could have wiped me out with just those two. Because Venusaur did a little bit. Venusaur completely destroyed Meganium. But even still, those two did a heck of a lot of damage to my team. And he actually told me after the battle, when we were talking, Quagsire Stone Edge basically did a lot to everything I had. So yeah, he played well. And as we thought, his team was very good. The one thing I do wonder, however, was his Ninetales. I don't know if it was Legacy or not, or whether it was just there for show. Because I actually do know from Tempest Cup, there was a guy who brought a Charizard, and it was an Overheat Dragonclaw Charizard. It wasn't a Blast Burn. He didn't use it at all in any of the battles. He just had it there, and no one knew it didn't have Blast Burn until he told us at the end of the tournament. But the thing is, in the tournament itself, everyone was thinking, oh my gosh, this dude has a Charizard, a lot of people were bringing Charizard, so Charizard wasn't that uncommon. It's not, something weird and kind of janky that, who's going to bring a Charizard to Kingdom Cup? Charizard was basically your best Lucario destroyer that wasn't a Alolan Marowak. And even then, a little bit could be considered a little bit better than Alolan Marowak. And it was very common. A lot of people had one. And that part of played into why it was so good, because it didn't really matter that it didn't have Overheat. It was just the fear what it might have. So I'm thinking that might have been the strategy with the Ninetales if it actually wasn't Flamethrower. Because Ninetales with Flamethrower and Psyshock, destructive. It's frightening. It can beat a lot of fire types because it's tanky, has that psychic move which is very unresisted. It's got the Flamethrower that can really destroy the steel bugs like Fortress, and the grass types like Venusaur and Meganium. And then just get good neutral damage on electric types, which pretty much are all glass cannons. So his team actually was very solid, and again, Quagsteen was a duo I actually thought about initially. Didn't actually use myself, because first off, I didn't think of it, and second, I didn't think of, well, actually, okay, I did think of it. I didn't think of using it because I wanted Poliwrath as my main water, and Lantern as kind of my backup water. But if I had a different team setup, like if I didn't have Poliwrath, I probably would have gone Quagsteen, and then maybe fit Lantern in there in place of Raichu. But, you know, again, past the past. And he just destroyed my team. It was... I actually told him after this, I wasn't sad I lost to him, because I know he's very good. And I told him he is one of the few people who, if I lose to, I come away from the battle knowing we both gave it our all, and it came down to he just outplayed because his team was very good, and he used very good strategy. Quagsteen is destructive, and this pretty much proves it. You know, it covers the weaknesses so well. They're both naturally pretty bulky, and despite the fact that electric and water were permitted, not a lot of people really fielded them. A lot of people fielded only one grass type. In most instances, it was Venusaur. And now for the MVP of the battles. Of course, who else could be the MVP but the Battletoad himself? He was basically my win condition for almost every battle that I won, because it was just throwing out those power-up punches. You know, from the first battle with Daisies, throwing out those power-up punches. Her reaction to finding out that it was just power-up punch was, you know, just not even understanding what was happening because it was just so fast. Against Dose and Aaron, it was just spamming those charge moves. And even against Lycanide, it put up a pretty good fight against them before going down. It shows more so just how powerful the move Power Up Punch can be if you let it get away with it, if you let a Pokemon get away with using Power Up Punch. But overall, I am very satisfied with my performance. 3-1 on a team that I actually kind of threw together a bit less, like kind of how I am with those teams. I kind of throw most of it together last minute. I have a general layout, but I tend to make some last minute modifications. And for a Pokemon that I actually really hadn't considered a whole lot about until kind of late, when I thought, I don't want 3 waters, I just want 2, and I want them to both be amazing. I thought on Battletoad and Lantern. I'm very satisfied with this performance. Battletoad really came together and pulled most of the little odds and ends that I didn't have covered together on most of my team compositions. Because, I mean, I have Charizard to cover Fortress, I have, you know, Meganium, which could cover Kingdra, but really, and, you know, a couple of other odds and end matchups like that, but not really any other Pokemon on my team could cover as much as Battletoad. It basically covered every single match that another Pokemon did, and then some others. While, you know, it did have some losing matchups, it did many similar jobs, and it could fit in on a team to provide sort of a double role. It could be a grass-type counter if they let me kind of set up on it. If I get in on a Fortress, I can just kind of destroy most of their team with it. If I get it on, say, a water type, that is a water type like Lantern, I can kind of run away with the game. My only real worry was that, you know, electric types are going to be everywhere and grass types are going to be everywhere. There were on every team, but really not a whole lot of them. It was pretty much just the same electrics and the same grasses, either Lantern or Raichu or Meganium or Venusaur. Victory Bell was really kind of the only oddball grass type out there. I mean, I was surprised there were no Magneton. Then again, we don't have as many legacies floating around as most places do, because a lot of people who play now weren't players at the start of the game, or they just deleted their legacies because they didn't know what they were before legacies became a really big thing. But yeah, I was in a format where water was very heavy, and water heavy was pretty much the description I've heard from a lot of my other friends that weren't in my little area. I am surprised to say a water type was the massive standout of my team. I'm looking very much forward to covering some more tournaments in the future, showing my battle videos and doing some practice videos of showing, this Pokemon can do this thing in these matchups or stuff like that. But that's for a later time. See you guys next time, or I guess I'm going to have to welcome you to the jungle.